What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Doubling Down here on Trust the Profits YouTube and on Nessun Nation. So excited to be on Nessun Nation. And this is Doubling Down. We do a daily double ticket in the sport of horse racing for all the big races coming up on this Saturday. Vinny, last week we got the return of journalism, and when I did our ticket last week, I basically ripped up my ticket on the show saying this is a loser, don't put a lot of money in. And then Gosker gave me a nice little run for my money when I took journalism off my ticket, trying to beat him with Gosker. They're coming down the stretch, and I thought I actually had a much better shot than I did when I did the show. What were your impressions of the Haskell and of Gosker?
Yeah, Gosker ran great. When they turned for home, I thought he was going to win. Journalism kind of looked dead in the water, really, even midway down the stretch, and he somehow grinded that out. So yeah, I got my little $3.20 double home. Didn't make much there, but yeah, you almost had a nice little hit there by taking a fan favorite off your ticket.
Yeah,
So I don't think didn't end up being a bad ticket, in my opinion.
yeah, we try to find some value, and we'll try once again to find some value this week, Vinny. And that actually played into the decision on which races we looked at, because you had journalism last weekend, and now you got sovereignty this weekend. And I wouldn't even allow you to pick against sovereignty. So we just decided to take the race right off the plate as far as being an option. But Vinny, that is something that, we have to balance the excitement of what people are tuning into the show for. And the Haskell with journalism was a big storyline. And I think as we were texting back and forth, we do have to also be strategic when we're advising on which doubles maybe to play. And that's part of the sport as well, is finding value. And I think we found a really nice double in the allowance running into the Lake George, the two legs prior to Sovereignty running. So maybe you turn that into the beginning of your pick 5, or Sovereignty's the end of your pick 3 if you want to play it that way. But at least from a double standpoint, it was the two races prior, I think, this week. And that is something that you have to think about when you're picking these races to do your doubles, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we talked about it, and we could take a risk and hope that there's not scratches, but I feel like there's a scratch or two in a lot of these bigger turf races, or just bigger fields. And ultimately that's what hurt us last weekend with the Haskell. Was the race before the United Nations had 3 scratches, and that really hurt the value of the tickets because there weren't as many options to go into journalism with. So definitely looking for a little bit of value this week. Yeah, we took the Jim Dandy right off the ticket.
That's right. No picking against sovereignty on this show when I'm around, so we won't even let you try. You can see on the right side our 2025 results. Vinny, you've slipped a little bit under there. You got a little bit of it back with your $1.40 win last week. I'm at $1, so I have to win this week, or we're back negative as well. And those are our standings for the year. If you've played every double that we've played, that's where you would be at. So not too bad. I'm disappointed I was up $40, and that has quickly disappeared by going about 0 for the last 6. But if you think you can do better than us, check this out, Vinny. We have an app. There's the QR code for you to play along with us. This is the leaderboard. We're going to do 4-week increments of, we'll call them little seasons. So this is week 3, and we've only got Caretaker with $1.40 profit. And 22 Black is actually a local friend here in Revere. He owns a horse by the name of 22 Black, trained by Kenny McPeak. He's having a lot of fun with that horse. So put him in your stable and keep an eye on that horse. But they're the ones in the positive. There's about 35 people signed up, and because no one hit the first week and then we had such that chalky payout last week, there's plenty of time here to jump in. And if you win, the winner is going to get the Travers Week free picks from the formula. The formula uses AI here on Trust the Profits, and he's going to give you his picks for free. Travers Week, every month we're going to have prizes. We're excited to roll that out to you. So if you think you can beat us, now's the time to join. Jump on that QR code over on the right and get involved. Vinny, it's fun to involve the fans, not only in the comments section. We read all your comments, and there was a comment last week about why you guys do the Haskell as the second leg, and I think this is part of the moving into the 2 bigger races in this week, with bigger fields, I should say. But it is fun seeing what the fans do against us as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been that first week there were 2 bombs that came in, and nobody got both of them. And now this week, last week, the Haskell didn't pay much, so the leaderboard is very new, basically.
it's there to be taken, as they say, right?
Yep.
Sign up
Yep.
now and get in, and you have an opportunity to quickly jump into the top spot. We are going to end. I should also add that if you go into the app, we have free pass performances for you for the 2 races, courtesy of RaceLens, who we love to use here on the show. There's headlines from Thoroughbred Daily News, and we're building that up. We'll take any comments in the YouTube section here and what info you would like to see in there. But it's time for us to get into this daily double for this week. This is for Saturday, July 26th, the race number 8 at Saratoga. Field of 10 going 6 furlongs on the dirt, state bred, 3-year-olds and up. Vinny, not only do we have a nice field, I feel like you could go a lot of options, and I think that's partly evident in the morning line. The morning line odds, your favorite 7-2, the 9 Kenny B. There's some nice prices, at least according to the morning line here, and you can tell by the win probability of RaceLens whenever you see 10, 12, 10, 14, 16, immediately shows me that it's a wide open race, and these are the races where you might want to try to spread a little bit. Although I think in both legs you could possibly argue to spread a little bit, and that's what I'll be doing this week. Where did you end up here in race number 8?
My top pick is actually the number 10 horse on the outside, on the hill. Looks like the morning line is 8-1 here. I think this horse is going to get a nice pace setup in this race. Looking at the other horses that are entered here, there's a lot of early pace signed on. So and this horse kind of needs a pace. The last race wasn't bad. So I think this horse could easily improve. Second start at Saratoga. I just think this pace is going to be hot, and this is a horse that's going to be coming from the back. So that's where I landed on with my top pick.
I agree with you. We'll try and play the video here. Hopefully it works for us. Sometimes it gives us a hiccup. The number 10 is on the hill. And last time out, this horse was 33-1. And Vinny went too far there. Coming around the turn here, this horse is going to go about 10 wide. And I think has a really nice run flying late. It's actually the number 2 horse way on the outside. So this horse just was left with way too much to do, was on the rail in the back stretch, was brought back, then comes 10 wide, and you'll see finally coming onto your screen here, the 2, you can see they're passing a bunch of horses, and I think this late run right there, getting up for 3rd, as you saw, maybe you saw that replay as well, I think that's the type of trip that I kind of want to look at that horse and come back. RaceLens has that last race highlighted as a race conditions with a similar purse to today's conditions. So I actually agree with you. I will take the number 10 on my ticket as well. There was a few other that I thought you could go with, and you had one on your ticket who I left off my ticket, and when you sent it to me, I went back one more time just before we started taping, and I said, he's right. I know what I saw about this horse, and that's the number 3, Vikinda. I didn't have this horse on my ticket at 8 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, when you sent me yours, I said, I have to add this horse. A horse that's bred, owned, and trained by George Weaver. What do you like about number 3?
He gets Franco back, which is a positive. And also, he comes from off the pace. That's kind of what I like. I think this pace is going to be very hot. There's a lot, especially, I'm hoping there's not any scratches in this race, because I think there's 5 or 6 horses I think that could potentially press this pace and make it a hot pace. So I want the horses in this one that are going to be sitting right off of it or a couple lengths off of it and make one big move for coming for home. And I thought this horse just fits that bill.
I had the 2, 4, 6, and 7 as all horses that would probably be forwardly placed. I agree with you about the pace. The reason I left this horse off my ticket to start when I went through the first time was I thought that this horse was never really close to the winner last time out, but he passed tiring horses who were part of a really hot pace. So I feel like that second place finish that you see on the past performances really wasn't as strong as what maybe it should have been that day. The speed figures in the 80s, a couple there in 93, 95. The number 10 that we talked about has a 98, including a win July 29th at Saratoga. So that was why I preferred the 10 certainly over this 3. Those were some of my hesitations. But I thought he could absolutely fit here. And if the pace sets up the way that you're saying it is certainly playable. we can look at RaceLens and take a look at the pace projection. It projects that the early pace may be slow, but there's lots of speed in this race. Could still set up for a horse from off the pace. So how you read it on the past performances is how RaceLens sees it. This was the other reason when I didn't have the 3 on my ticket and you sent it to me, because when I went through the past performances and I saw this 32% for the number 3 in race 8, that's a pretty big, that's a substantial number for me when I'm looking at RaceLens.
That's a big jump. Yeah,
and I didn't see that,
I personally don't see that. I feel like when you see that 32%, you're expecting that horse to be, like your 2-to-1 favorite. I don't think he'll be. I guess yours has the true odds at 2-to-1. That was pretty good. I didn't even see that.
Look at you.
I feel like we're gonna get like 4-to-1. So I definitely some value there. I really do like that this horse is getting Franco back. I just think it is a big jockey upgrade from what he had in his previous race. And Franco's ridden him before and ridden him well.
Yeah, and what RaceLens is telling you there is that it's a potential betting opportunity if the odds are higher than 2-to-1. So basically giving you some guidance on what you might want to pay attention to for. You went another route in this race with the number 7, Bustin' Away. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I like horses like this that are shipping for Saratoga, that are shipping over from Finger Lakes, and it kind of looks like a step up in class. But like when you look at what they run at Finger Lakes compared to what they run at Saratoga, like he's running at like the top of the top at Finger Lakes. Like there's not, like every now and again there's a stakes race out there, but like those allowance races at Finger Lakes are like those are their best horses. And he's been winning them pretty easily. That's all he seems to like to do. He's won 3 of his last 4. He's going to be near the lead, which is good. I don't necessarily think he needs the lead, which plays back to, I think this pace is going to be hot. I think there's going to be a few horses that definitely need the lead. And he looks like one that might just get the first jump on everybody. So I'm hoping he doesn't get caught up in the pace. I'm hoping they set him like a length or 2 behind it, and he can be the first one to make a move. If he gets caught up in it, I don't know if he holds on, but at the price and the fact that he's shipping from Finger Lakes, and I doubt he'll take a ton of money unless he's absolutely live. I thought it was worth adding.
RaceLens, I did the Finger Lakes to Spa angle to see how, because it feels like these horses come in, they always look good on paper, and then I wanted to know the true data of what I was looking at, Vinny. So you'll be happy to know that over the course of the last 6 months, unless today someone won from Finger Lakes, I don't know if they did because I didn't see, this past Sunday was the only horse that's come, and that was Mo Trump, who is that 24-to-1 horse in the mile on the 16th on July 20th. Is the only one so far to make that move. Over the last year, there's been 58 starts, only 5% winner. And so for me, I hear you. It's definitely speed figures and the early pace is there. I just, and seeing Koa and the Finger Lakes horse, I just always decide to usually pass.
Every now and again, like there's a few, if you went back to that list, there were a few that have run 2nd and 3rd, and those have been like, they're all prices, which is like, I think the moral of the story is that like, it just takes like that 20, right? Like that 20, that Mo Trump that won, like 24-to-1, and like it just takes one to really make the bankroll. So I'm okay giving this horse a shot, especially if I'm going to get somewhere between like that 8 to 10-to-1 range. If he hits this double will pay very nicely.
Yeah, perfect tourney plays where I would put that type of horse, but not for me on my doubles. The last horse I'm going to use is the number 2 Stewie with Irad Ortiz. Some really green numbers popping on my PPs here. This was the horse that I thought was going to be on the front end and be a threat. So similar to what you're talking about with the 7. Last race was on the front end, held off. I mean, he was 22:44 on the front end of that pace last time at Saratoga June 8th in a level that is the same as this one. He held off the rest of that field. I know he wasn't close, losing 5 lengths to Wide Awake, but I watched that replay, and I thought that was a pretty strong effort for this horse, sired by Exaggerator. Number 2, Stewie. And at 5-1, I'm not sure. I was surprised to see 5-1. If I get that, I'll be really happy. But this wasn't a horse that I wanted to get knocked out by, especially right here. Pace early, middle early, high numbers in class and speed. Number 2, Stewie, on the ticket for me as well.
Yeah, I almost used him. He was kind of like the last cut off my ticket. I just thought the pace. I think he'll get caught up in the pace, and I don't see him. The only way I see him winning is really going gate to wire. So I think he's a good exact to play, but I couldn't use a spot on my double for him.
We'll take a quick break here on Nesson Nation. Stay tuned and come back, and we'll keep going right here on Trust the Profits YouTube. You can support the show. Check out the new merch we have over on doublingdown.printful.me. We've got hats. Vinny, you got a new hat in the mail. 3 of them, I think. We'll see those up at Whitney
I did.
this weekend. And you can get some new hats, some new shirts. The gear is all there. Support me and Vinny as we continue. We got this great new logo that I just absolutely love. Vinny, you have the
awesome.
hats. Hopefully you'll be bringing those up to me and get me one.
Yep.
Let's see it.
Yep, I got it.
There it
I got
is.
one right here.
Embroidered.
Yep, I got one right here. Yep. They look pretty cool.
You want to be...
If it fit over the headset, I'd wear it.
You want to be one of the sharpest looking players up there at Saratoga. Make sure you have one. And find us. Maybe we'll give one away if you can find us on Whitney Weekend. Vinny and I will both be there. We move on to leg 2 of our daily double. It is the Lake George Grade 3 Inner Turf for fillies, 3-year-olds. Another healthy field here of 11. Number 11 is a main track only, even money if it goes to the dirt. Chad Brown again, Vinny, this is another race. Every time I do my research on, what happened last year's Lake George, I get these stats of, Chad Brown won, 10 of the last 13 when we were talking last week, and then this week is Brown has won 7 of the last 10. This is an interesting race. They're going a mile and a 16th. I think the interesting part of it is these ones are always intriguing to me when you have a lot of horses that are kind of haven't figured out where they are yet, right? And they're coming off of big efforts and they're trying to grade 3. You have a few horses that have tried a couple grade 3s, but I love the excitement of what's the top for these horses and trying to project who's going to take a step forward, who's been running in races that have really been competitive and who are maybe some pretenders amongst the bunch. Where did you decide to go in the Lake George?
I mean, you kind of let off with it. I went with Chad Brown. I actually really... So my top pick is actually the number 10, Play with Fire. The Chad that has Manny on it and not Irad. I really like how this horse is coming along. That last race, yes, lost the Classic Q who's in this field. But I love when horses stretch out on the turf at Saratoga. It's just going from a mile to a mile and a 16th. I know he doesn't get Pratt. I know she doesn't get Pratt today, but this horse seems like the distance should be no problem. The last 2 races have been really good, so I'm excited to see what this horse can do. I think we'll get a little bit of a price too, because it's not the Chad that Irad's on, so there's no way this horse will be the favorite. And I think there's a little bit more pace in here than there was last time when Classic Q kind of went gate to wire on them. So I think this horse is worth a swing.
I promise by next week I'll have my alarm for when I say my key increasing speed figures as a 3-year-old, and that's what you get right here with Play with Fire. We'll bring in those numbers for you. If you're new to horse racing, there's speed figures. These are Equibase speed figures. They're in bold: 76, 83, 93, 101 and 100 are what we call a coupled. So 2 speed figures in the realm, basically within 1 or 2 or 3 points of each other. And to me, that as a 3-year-old signifies possibly another jump forward. And another jump forward here with Play with Fire absolutely puts this horse in the mix and probably wins the race. This horse is sired by Oscar Performance, who is really turning out to be a great sire on all surfaces. On the turf, over 1 mile, 15%, 16% over the last 2 years. We all know from Sean Patrick Nolan here on trust the profits. Every time we get an Oscar performance baby winning, we will hear the text immediately. Your phone will ding and you'll go, up another. It's like an angel got its wings. Up another Oscar won another race somewhere with Sean. So I love this 10 Play with Fire as well. This horse will also be on my ticket. Chad Brown taking over this horse after Brendan Walsh. Where else did you go?
I went with the other Chad, Lavender Disaster. Gets Irad, and like, yes, the speed figures don't look fantastic, but as a 3-year-old has improved. Like, one of my favorite angles is a 3-year-old who on debut runs a career top speed figure from their 2-year-old year. And this horse, not on Equibase figures,
Yeah.
but on other figures, improved significantly from 2 to 3, and then improved again in the second start. So this horse, I know, again, the horse came in third last time to Play with Fire and Classic Q, but between the stretch out and distance and another improvement, I think this horse is right there. And Irad's the leading rider at Saratoga. He wins these are the type of races they pay Irad the win. I think this horse is going to have a very good showing here. And yeah, like, I mean, obvious. Like, my one worry is that Classic Q does this again and just gets out all by herself, and nobody runs with her. I guess the one thing I can say is that Belmont at Saratoga weekend, the track really was playing to front end speed.
I knew you were going to say
the
that.
track,
I knew that was
the track
coming
was.
today.
The track was, and like the opening weekend it was here, but the last 6-7 race days here, that's not really where you want to be. There's been a couple that have held on going gate the wire, but for the most part, you want to kind of be in that second flight. You don't want to be the pace setter. So I think this horse is just going to run another big race. Didn't run bad here. They just, was third best. Play with Fire almost gets there. So I think between these two, I'm very happy with just taking these two and hoping I have the winner.
I had to decide between the 4 and the 5. I decided to go with the 5. I just thought from looking at the stretch run there was faster. The speed figures here. When we talk about the horses, as we talked about as I mentioned coming into this race, why I liked it is who's going to step forward. One thing I do like to rely upon is kind of that consistency of some seeing in this case some hundreds, right? 101, 101, yeah. 107, 101. Like, yes, I agree, and the 4 is not that much better for price at 5 to 2, and you're getting Classic Q at 2 to 1. I understand that, but you're really hoping that Lavender Disaster's faster. Now, Vinny, this is usually one of my favorite angles for Chad with 4-year-olds is turf career best going into a graded stakes. That's absolutely an angle. So I think if he can get that 3-year-old to do what he does with those 4-year-olds, absolutely live. That last race was a win at Saratoga. And I knew the negative I said was I'm sure that Vinny's going to bring up a track bias on that day being on the front end, and I nailed it. I knew that was coming from you.
I really like this horse at the end. Like, if I singled in the first leg, this horse would 100% be on my ticket.
Yeah.
I just, for the price, going, I can't really go 3x3 and use two favorites, and I used a shorter price horse with the 3 in the first leg, so this is the chalk I had to try to toss here because I don't want another $3.20 double like I had last weekend.
Makes sense. I'm going to sneak a little price on my ticket here with this number 8, a Terradora. Sire Star Spangled Banner, trainer Michael Maker with Ricardo Santana aboard. I'm playing a little bit of the who have we talked about recently on this show and who has this horse raced against, and maybe this horse has just been getting, all these fourths. Look, these are grade 2s, grade 3s. Look at the names that we point out, Vinny. We talked about the recently horses that I beat Nitrogen with Fian. So these are 2 horses that are absolutely on my radar, and these are quality fields, I think, that this horse has come out of. So maybe we can get a little bit of a shot here with the number 8 at 10 to 1. That was a price I certainly wanted to get onto my ticket. So we'll use the 8 as well for me. So that is the 5, 8, 10 for me here in this leg. Any quick thoughts on the 8?
Horse fits. I mean the fourths kind of just scare me a little bit. That like kind of seems to just be one paced, but at the price, can't fault you for taking it, especially with Maker. I feel like Maker does well going longer on the turf.
Horses shipping up from Churchill Downs will also make that our Equibase angle play of the day there on the right side. Last 6 months, horses shipping from Churchill to Saratoga, 22% win percentage, 55% in the money, negative ROI, but only at 3%. That's a pretty big sample, so some horses you certainly want to pay attention to there. You can jump on RaceLens and get all those angles, put in angles you like yourself. We love the tool. Here's a look at our doubling down tickets for July 26th. Should be 2025, not 2925. It's a future there. 2, 3, 10, 5, 8, 10. It's a $9 ticket for me. Vinny goes 3, 7, 10 with the 4, 10. That'll cost you $6. Vinny, hopefully we can get these tickets home. For all of those of you watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. For those of you watching on Nessa Nation, jump over to the YouTube and give us some comments as well. Let us know that you're watching out there. Until next time, I'm Colin. He's Vinny Blonde. Good luck, everybody.